Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
How's things been?
Things have been things.
You still sound like you're like a little bit half asleep.
I am. I actually... So we went on a call last night at the fire station at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And so I didn't really get back to sleep after that. And then I went to work all day and I got back and was doing some things. And I was like, oh, it's, 6 o'clock. Maybe I'll just take a nap for a little bit until... until we have to record. And then I woke up and it was like 9:05 and I was late.
Wow. That's funny. What was your call? Was it bad?
No, it was some nursing home transfer, but it wasn't anything to do with respiratory symptoms or anything like that. There was no PUI involved in last night's call. No, it's so funny because as much as I want to stop talking about this stupid thing, there's so many things that just make the talking happen, and it's you
have the best words.
I know words are my thing. It's what I do. I can't believe in this whole pandemic the stupidity that seems to come out more and more in people that I have so much better faith in than that. And then I'm just like, shaking my head going, what is going on here? So, for example, my fire department sends out an email on Sunday, and it's an email from the chief, and he's like, it's this craziest thing I've ever had to do. Never thought I'd ever have to do this in my time here, but he's like, I have to limit everything going on at the station right now. We only those on site at any time can be the people who live here, as well as the duty crews. And for the duty crews, I'm only going to allow 2 people on the ambulance and 4 people on the engine, and if you don't encompass in that set, then you're not even allowed to be at the station. So we're limiting people that are here, which was written a little unclear actually. It was written that you could be there with your duty crew if you're on the duty crew, but then it was written that also minimum staffing of the units, they were only going to allow 2 people on the ambulance and 4 people on the engine, but it didn't kind of specify together. So there was some confusion on, well, if I'm on the crew, am I still supposed to be there? Just I'm not allowed to ride the unit.
Right.
Got that all squared away and talked to the chief directly, because our probationary members were like, they kept texting me. They're like, am I allowed to come in tonight? Like, I don't understand I know I can't ride, but am I allowed to be at the station? And I found out, no, the whole point is limiting anybody to be at the station at all, limiting numbers at the station, limiting numbers on the units. So
right.
That's it. So I said, okay, in this time frame, that makes perfect sense. And it's going to make it really hard because, of course, instantly I have somebody from my ambulance text me, and she's like, did you see the new rules? Like, only 2 people on the ambulance? She goes, sorry about it. I'm just going to call for manpower all the time. And it's because, if you only have 2 people on the ambulance, you might have a hard time lifting a patient.
Right.
And so my response to her was, if you appropriately call for manpower, I have no problem with that. But like, the implication is you better not fucking just call for manpower because you decided that you are just pissed off because you only have to have 2 people on your unit right now. Like, that's
right.
That's kind of against it. And of course she was like, oh, that's what I meant. I just meant like I'd appropriately do it. But I'm just like, whatever. Like, people are being selfish in this whole thing. So get to the station last night. Very, very small skeleton crew of people. We actually didn't even have 4 people on the engine. We only had 3 people on the engine because my shift already is small. But we didn't have any probationary members. So it was just a really small number of people and all this stuff. And I'm doing lineup because I'm the shift officer and telling people, this is how many people we got. This is all we got. This is, the directive. If you haven't seen it, blah, blah, blah. And that's somebody who is a live-in who was also riding on our shift last night goes, yeah, we had really low call volume in the last couple days. Last night we even had 2 engines in service and still didn't get a single call. And I stopped and I was like, what do you mean you had 2 engines in service last night? And he goes, well, yeah, we had enough people, so we put 2 engines in service. I said, they put a directive out to have a minimum number of people on site, and that included only having 4 people on the engine and 2 people on the ambulance. He goes, well, yeah, but we have a lot of people on that duty crew, so we talked to the chief, and the chief said, oh, yeah, if you have enough people, just put a second engine or a second ambulance in service. And I said, yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, our call volume is significantly down since this outbreak. We only usually have 1 of each of those apparatus in service. That's all we're required to have by the company. We'll have an extra one in service if we have the manpower, but not during a fucking pandemic. When they announced that you're supposed to limit the number of people, coming straight from the fire chief, that doesn't mean limit the number of people unless you can, for some reason, put an unneeded extra piece of apparatus in service.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to, they don't seem to get it. They said, well, but what if we have, what if there's an influx of calls that more people can respond to? I said, for one, again, we have a 30% decrease in calls across the county since this epidemic, or since this pandemic started. For 2, the whole point is to limit people from being here. How does it make any fucking sense to you to have an extra 4 people on site because you had enough people to put another unit in service? Like, this is where stupidity just seems to reign, and I don't understand what's going through people's minds.
I mean, I guess it depends on who you're listening to out there, because, you know, this pandemic's over, Jeff. I mean,
it is as of today, but it wasn't yesterday.
That's a good point. Good point.
I mean, today, fuck, feel free. You should get, like, all the people in the world, like, to ride that engine. We should go find some COVID positive patients to ride with us, to go around and tell people, hey, gonna be all right. Look at me. You know, I'm doing great.
Yeah. I mean, I feel pretty relieved that this is all over now.
Are you worried for a minute that it wasn't going to be over? Come on, with our leadership, how are you concerned?
So, for anyone that doesn't know, the president declared that we won today. So today is the 24th.
A day when our numbers increased by like 25% overnight.
Well, it was touch and go there for a little while, but we won.
This morning we were losing. This afternoon. Right. Victory was declared.
I mean, Easter's a beautiful time, you know.
Oh my god! I heard that, you know, our country wasn't built to shut down or something.
That's what he said. We weren't designed to shut down. We weren't one of those countries that they designed to shut down. Maybe if the forefathers had thought about that and designed us to be a shutdown country, we could have done this.
I know. It's like those like random companies, you know, like the stocks of, you know, Zoom and WebEx and things like that have probably shot up significantly over the past, you know, week or so because of the fact that so many people need to start using their products all of a sudden. Like they wouldn't have seen this increase if this stuff didn't happen, but they were in the right place at the right time. You know, had we just been that country.
Right. If we'd been the shutdown country,
we could have been like on the brink of disaster, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and boom, it's us, baby. We're now here. We're now the first world power of the world.
What do you think will happen if come Easter he just declare? I feel like if come Easter he's just like, all right, back to business, which is what he says he's gonna do. I feel like the governors won't allow that, hopefully.
I hope so. I don't know. The stupidity that I've seen from people, though, I can't. I mean, some governors have clearly been like very proactive and very much ahead of the curve and announcing, you know, shutting down before other people. But there's some places that still aren't even, you know, trying to shut down essential businesses and stuff. Somebody told me that they were in Virginia over the weekend doing something, and they literally drove by this bar that was open and just packed.
I bet so.
And it's like, well, what? Like, huh? How is that possible? The other thing that's just so baffling to me, and I'm trying to find out how this one's going to play out. What the hell? Some pop-up keeps opening up on my computer demanding like Bitcoin or something. I'm just kidding.
It's
There's a
10%.
pop-up that's opening up. It's like some background and check all of a sudden is just like closing my Minecraft window. It's weird, but it's gone now. The other thing that's really crazy is we had some people at my facility apparently who were off-site for the last week and a half or so, and I didn't realize this because they had exhibited symptoms, and they had gone to our occupational health, and they were suggested, well, self-quarantine because you have the symptoms. And one person's got bad enough that both him and his wife went to their doctor, who determined that they needed to be tested because they fit the symptoms. So they've been, out. He's been out of the office for like the past week and a half, and I guess his results came back on Friday, and he was negative.
Okay.
His wife's positive.
Huh.
And our health department apparently said, "Oh, you're negative. You're cleared to come back." And that's caused a big kind of controversy and concern, understandably so. And I guess enough people had complained that they decided that, oh, okay, well then he won't come back on Monday, which I guess is when he was supposed to come back, was yesterday, based on the recording of this. But he'll come back on Friday, which is the end of his initial 14-day quarantine. So they'll finish out the quarantine to make people feel okay.
I feel like you're overreacting, Jeff.
I mean, I'm not even the one acting on this.
I'm the one acting.
I'm finding out stuff third hand. And I was trying to go to the source today and get all the exact details. And while I haven't gotten all the details, they do seem to line up with the rumors that I've heard thus far. But
I feel like you're causing a lot of waves.
I'm not causing these ones. These ones are being told to me by other people who are complaining.
Because they know you're like the wave.
That's how I found out yesterday. I haven't raised this to anybody yet because I was trying to get to the bottom of the reality of this one, if this was real or not. But this is what I'm talking about with these like the people making these decisions understand that, for one, these tests are only 70% efficient or accurate. As well as if you're negative at 1 minute, when you continue close exposure to somebody who's known to be positive, isn't that considered a new exposure?
Nah. He's negative, Jeff.
You know why? I guess it's since and only because our country wasn't built to shut down.
Right.
It must be okay. Because for that country the hypothetical country that I was talking about before that's built to shut down, like it would have been like clearly everybody would have had it.
It's just also funny to me. I mean, in a bad way, not in a good way. Funny.
Well, this is such a weird thing to relate it to, but at the same time, it's the only thing I can relate it to. It almost like explains to me how Trump won the election.
What do you mean?
It's just people are so stupid in their understanding of common sense that people literally decided, like the people who still think that Trump is like the most phenomenal president that's ever lived, they clearly don't understand the big picture, right?
I mean, yeah.
So the people who seriously think that the two examples that I've stated already today that are real examples that have happened to me in the past 24 hours, that's people who clearly don't understand common sense in the big picture, right?
I mean, these are professionals that are in the medical industry that you're working with.
Yeah.
They're the people that are supposed to keep.
That's
like,
why
us safe.
it shows me how he could win, because nobody could believe how he could have won, and nobody could believe how people still support him. And now I clearly, I don't understand direct correlation, but I understand the how.
Mm-hmm. So how's things how'd that meeting go the other day?
It happened.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Apparently, I didn't go. Those people who went sent me a picture of like a bunch of people in this room. There's like 130 people or so that showed up, and a picture that talked about like keeping your staff safe and distancing and all this stuff, like at the background of this just room full of people.
That's
I mean, it's like
real.
and from what everybody, I guess some people were at the top of the auditorium where I had talked about going to stand, and like 10 minutes in, I guess because somebody on my team went, they decided that they were going to go, they were going to stand in the back and find out what was going on because they were kind of curious if it was really going to be like mission critical. I wanted to have information. According to them, not at all. And they were actually kind of pissed. And they said that there were some people in the back that about 10 minutes in, when they realized that there was nothing important that was going to be said that needed to be there for, like a handful of people like threw up their hands and just like walked out the door. So I don't know. And then at the same time, there were certain people that were super engaged, I guess, and was like very excited to be there in person with people. So it all sides of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, I miss seeing people. That's true.
Yeah.
But
and I mean, and it is one thing to those people that are stuck on the front lines every day and going there, that it does make them feel a solidarity with their leadership if they know that they're there with them. I understand that concept, but it's inappropriate.
Yeah. What are you going to do then?
Well, honestly, all I can do is say my piece and then keep myself as
like
safe as possible.
It sounds like there's a lot of people talking to you about what's going on, like they know, like that you're mad.
It's actually kind of funny because it's literally the same concept with Democrats who talk to other Democrats about things that are happening and complain about Republicans, and Republicans who talk to other Republicans about things that are happening. It's one of those, the people who come to me and talk to me about this stuff are the people that are talking to me because I've raised my voice enough on certain situations that they know exactly where I stand and what I think about things. So they bring it up to me because they know I'm like-minded. So the people I'm hearing about, the guy with his COVID positive wife and the people at the fire station, people are bringing it up to me are the people knowing that I'm going to get like riled up about it because I think like they do versus, so who knows if I would actually even hear about some of this stuff. Like granted, their mandatory meeting, that was because it was a email that went out to everybody that was mandatory. Would have heard about that. The whole situation with this guy and his COVID positive wife, I don't think anybody would have told me about, because I didn't know about it until yesterday. I don't think I even would have known if the person who told me wouldn't have didn't know where my opinion would be at on it.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of people do tell me a lot of random things, but it's because they know that where I'm going to be, and it's like confirmation bias type of deal.
So how's stuff going at the hospital now? Like, do y'all have plenty of beds? And
as of now, we still have a relatively low census. We actually haven't had a big influx of patients over the weekend for testing or positive or anything like that. So our numbers have been staying pretty steady. They're still constantly anticipating this much bigger influx of people that's going to happen, and we're preparing for stuff like that, but it's not happening yet.
It sounds like we won.
I mean, we might have just won. Put our guard down. Let's take down all the extra precautions that we got in place since we won.
I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I mean, you're on the front line. You would know if it was bad.
Well, honestly, it is kind of funny because in this area, though, our numbers are officially increasing according to the map. Like, they're not increasing now. It seems like they've been pretty steady for like 3 or 4 days, like since the end of the week. They've been pretty steady, and that maybe we have like got it under control around here, and the numbers will show that soon, or maybe it's going to influx very shortly. I don't know, but yeah, it's not a.
Have you gone to like the grocery store or anything? How's that?
Oh yeah, I'm going to the grocery store. I went over on Friday to make sure I was stocked up on like beer, and grocery store actually had more food and stuff in it than it had earlier in the week.
So I
haven't closed down. So DC hasn't closed stuff down yet. Like Maryland has officially announced closure of all non-essential businesses. They don't want people.
Oh wow! So your restaurants and stuff are still open?
No, restaurants are not, but other things like Maryland is more announced a shutdown on Friday. But essential businesses can still stay open, but they want people to more shelter in place and things like that. DC has not announced such things yet.
Right. Yeah, my state hasn't done that either. We have closed the schools until May 15th now, which I think is kind of silly.
I thought you had announced done until the end of the year.
No, that was Kansas, remember?
Well, now I know Virginia's announced until the end of the year as well. I thought Maryland had as well.
Well, I mean, what I was going to say is it's kind of silly they didn't go as far as the end of the year, because May 15th is 3 weeks away from the end of the year. So, like,
bring them back.
Yeah, bring them back for 3 weeks. I mean, you might as well just go ahead and say at this point, all right, it's over.
Well, hell, let's bring it back now. I heard we won.
Well, yeah, it's kind of confusing. I'm getting mixed information from my president versus my governor. I don't know who to believe. I don't know. It's hard times.
Hard times ahead.
I don't know. So, like, what's different? So I've talked to a lot of people while I stream and just, that sort of thing. And on my Discord's got a pretty active political discussion group where that's where all the COVID discussions have been happening. And
you guys are the ones who made the declaration that we won.
We did not. But I mean, we are following the words of our president, of course, because you'd be silly not to. There's a lot of sarcasm if you guys can't detect it. Anyways, so like here, the grocery store, there's like 2 Food Lions that are close to me, and there's one a little bit further away. So these are all Food Lions I'm talking about, but they don't have any food. They're opening for like 3 hours a day, and then that's because that's all they have stock for. After those 3 hours, they close because they're literally out of everything, nothing in the store. Versus, like, I've heard people that don't have this problem. So, like, I don't know. Seems like here it's way worse than what I'm hearing from other places.
Yeah, maybe it's just that DC still has stuff. Because, like, at the fire station last night, we were about to go across the street to Safeway. That's what we do. We have Safeway cards, and we go cook some food or buy some food there to cook for the meal. And some of the people that were on shift were like, "Oh, I can't go to that Safeway. It's just been empty the whole time." I don't know if they've really gone back in a while. Because I know last week it was pretty bare bones, but we found some food. But in DC, we have more food this week than we did last week in the shelves. So I don't know if they just hadn't gone back to check and they were just talking about the last thing that they saw, or if they really had seen it and they just aren't getting stock there either. I don't know. We didn't end up going. We ended up ordering like pizza.
So, like, that's another thing I haven't been doing. Is any kind of, well, I haven't left my house. I left my house to take my daughter to her mother yesterday, and that was it. I don't know if I told you, like, originally that wasn't even supposed to happen, but then her work has changed things around where she's off on those weeks. So now we're trading our daughter again, which I'm not too keen on because I feel like we're going to, like, spread the virus between us, but what can you do?
The man that wanted to go on the cruise.
I mean, yeah. I always said, like, whatever happened though. Like, I would follow the advice and those sort of things.
It was really funny the day that episode released about you still talking about wanting to go on the cruise and how they hadn't canceled it yet. Was like the day we had recorded more video where you were like, "Oh, I canceled. I'm like quarantining my house. I don't want to go out anywhere. I don't want to spread this thing." And it was just funny because, like, right after we recorded that video, before I had posted, like, a comment comes through my feed. It's like, "I can't believe that idiot still wants to go on a cruise." Like, and I was like, this is like, it's so weird to just go back in time, even though that was like 3 days prior.
Right. I mean, well, the biggest thing for me was whenever there was, and I don't know if you read those articles after we recorded, but I've said it a couple times. Once there's this lasting effect, then that changes the virus from my perspective to something that is more worrisome, not something that you get and you get over it. If it's going to hurt my lungs. Have you ever
substantiated that with anything?
I mean, it's been peer reviewed. There's been multiple.
Are you a peer?
I'm not a peer. But no, there's been more than one. I mean, the thing is, the problem is that there's only so much time. So, like, these people with lasting conditions, they are lasting now, but we don't know if they're going to be lasting in a year because we don't have a year of data yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, maybe their lungs will repair themselves. Hopefully they do, but there's really no way to know until enough time passes that we can get more data, really. So I don't know.
I did cut
Do you
off,
think
I cut off your story, and I don't remember what you were saying.
I don't know. I mean, basically, my whole point was, you know,
You weren't
the whole
keen
thing was
on
it was fluid.
swapping.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, you went back to the whole me being willing to go to a cruise. That was it. Really was, you know, things changed. But yeah, I don't know what else I was saying. Just that, I don't know. I don't know what to expect and when to expect it. Because like, if I look at my grocery stores around here, like I can't really restock my food. But some people are saying that they don't have any trouble, like you were saying. So like, I don't know. It feels like it's different wherever. I haven't gone to the trouble of like driving all the way to Raleigh or anything like that. Maybe it's different there. But I'm trying to avoid masses of people. So I don't know. Honestly, I felt like the cruise was going to be safe. As long as no one on the cruise was sick, like man, I'm quarantined away from the whole country.
No one in America is sick, then I feel like America's pretty safe.
I mean, well, but we've already won, Jeff. Please keep in mind. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know. I feel like we need to come up with new things to talk about, but I don't know what they are.
Well, stuff's got to happen in the country before we can talk about things.
Yeah, that's true. There's not a lot changing in our lives, in our world. I don't think, like, you know, Disney gave you 15 months to rebook your cruise. Like, I don't even know, like, how long they're going to have to extend that.
Because they'll never be able to accommodate everybody. Even if they opened up right now, yeah, can they accommodate all the people who cruises they've had?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point there. I wasn't even talking about that. I was just saying, like, how long are they actually going to be shut down? Like, when does the 15 months start? Is it 15 months from the day of my cruise? That's what the email
it should
says.
start today. We won.
I mean, yeah. Well, you know, we won, but we're still not opening things back up until Easter because Easter's a beautiful time. So
I mean, that makes sense though because all the global pandemics always stop for the holidays.
Well, you don't want to disrupt a beautiful time.
I know. Almost like you'd have to close the roads around DC because of the cherry blossoms right now, and too many people are still going to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the roads are closed. Is that what you're saying? Oh,
around the tidal basin they are.
Right.
Because there's too many people still going to the cherry blossoms. Which is a weird concept in itself because, you know, somebody at the fire station was talking about last night, and he says that the mixed messaging is part of what's confusing people is, yeah, social distancing, but still going outside was always one of the initial concepts. It was just supposed to stop people, you know, from being in too close proximity, like in too big of crowds and things like that. And there's some definite mixed messaging. Like if you go see something and it's outside and you're kind of still by yourself or with just your family around, that's still acceptable. But some people are looking to be like, I can't believe people are outside. And that's not necessarily right either.
Well, I was watching a video earlier from like Brazil. I mean, I guess they've told people to stay home and like beaches are closed and that sort of thing. So I guess it's different there, but like they're like flying around with helicopters and like blasting people with sand that are on the beach to get them off the beach. But but in the video,
they're like by themselves.
Yeah. They're absolutely, and everyone is like, you know, 100 yards from each other. No one is anywhere near each other. So it's like these people really aren't a problem. I mean, I guess like if you let it go unchecked, maybe more and more people will come, and then it'll become a problem. Maybe, I guess, I don't know, but it's like they weren't really hurting anybody. They were far enough apart, like it's fine. But I don't know. I'm wondering if we're gonna get to have a marathon this year, like the main one, the one that we come together for.
I mean, as long as you keep it to less than 10 people.
Can't even have a production crew in that. But I mean, we can't fly. I mean, we're not gonna fly each other to. So like, I don't know. As of right now, if this continues into October, which I feel like it will, like, no marathon this year. I mean, we can do an at-home marathon, but it definitely won't be our normal event.
When is the mid-marathon supposed to be actually?
Well, so I don't know. Isn't
that usually right around now?
No, it's normally in April.
Right
May.
around now. I meant by coming up soon.
Yeah. The date we announced was April 25th. We were gonna move it because that's when Aurelian was getting married. But now her wedding has been canceled because of the coronavirus. So we could technically still do it then, but like honestly, well, we really shouldn't talk about this in the video. There's a discussion in the Minecraft Discord if you want to read up on this, Jeff.
I would like you to just tell it to me like I'm a child, please.
Well, I will, just not in the episode. So
I don't want to keep up with my own things.
Yeah. At any rate, we should probably end this episode here so we can record another one.
All right, guys.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.